All right, maybe it is a little memorandum. Real. All right, we'll work on that. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the EriDan Film Festival. It is another Monday night. In fact, it is Monday, May 17th, 2021, episode 50.
Wow, the big 5-0
festival, or if you're on the podcast, season 2, episode 21. But for those of us on Facebook and YouTube, 50th time we have gathered together. I was looking back. The first time we did this, there was 4 of us. It was me, you, Dave, and Adam talking about UHF was the first episode.
Was UHF the first one?
That was the first one. So, but tonight we will be talking about While You Were Sleeping. So we will be back with information about how you can join us, how you can help maybe choose what the movie for next week will be. So buckle up, buckaroo.
Here we go.
Oh
my God.
I played the wrong intro. I feel terrible.
You played the wrong intro?
I did. I played the wrong intro. It was the Enemy of the State intro. That was my bad.
I didn't even notice. I was doing look at those eyebrows. And I realized we both do those. We have those from the dollar store.
I finally found a purpose for these. I feel so good about that.
Holy Peter Gallagher.
Holy. I was like, it was so fascinating throughout the movie. I'm like, I'm just watching his eyebrows the whole time. It was amazing.
I was just staring at the cleft in his chin, the cleft in his chin, and the cleft in Sandra Bullock's chin. Like the kids would have nothing but clefts if they had kids together.
Unbelievably handsome kids if they would have. So let's go over the stats before we start bringing in some people.
Yeah,
talk about While You Were Sleeping. I'm not looking forward to taking these off later, by the way. While You Were Sleeping, 1995, rated PG. Sandra Bullock, Bill Pullman, Peter Gallagher, Peter Boyle, Jack Warren, Glynis Johns.
Glynis. There's an L. There
is an L. What about this one? John Turtletaub directing this one, written by Daniel G. Sullivan and Frederick LeBeau. Had a budget of $17 million and a worldwide gross of $182 million buckaroos. Critics 80%, audience 79%, according to Rotten Tomatoes. Tonight, who knows what these tomatoes are going to rate this movie?
And
how do people join us? If they're interested, if they're like, wow, well, I've got some opinions about this movie, I got to do this. I really hurt. Okay.
Well, I'm in the I've got to get out of the Clutch Radio banners and pull up the banner for this show.
You should probably,
if you want to be a guest, you go to EriDanLive.com. That's EriDanLive.com or EriDan.xyz.
XYZ. And so close whatever browser you're watching in and open a new window, maybe an incognito window to make sure you can join us.
Plus, you don't want people to know you were part of the show.
Well, it's true. That is the best way to stay incognito. And so we've got some people here who are ready to talk, to jump in, and more importantly, somebody who helped pick this week's movie. Let's bring in Dave and his special guest.
I'm sorry, Dave. This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
Hey, it's Dave and Margaret.
Oh, look at the EriDan mug.
Oh my gosh, you have an EriDan mug. Oh, and the
sweatshirt.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It is. It's lovely. The sweatshirt is lovely. I highly recommend the sweatshirts.
That looks amazing. Oh, I'm so excited.
Eric, this isn't the 5th time, is it? This is the 4th time.
I think this might be her
third or fourth.
Third or fourth.
I think 4 because Eric's not. I don't think Eric made it. So.
Oh man, what possibly could happen next time? We don't even know. Well, that's very exciting. Well, Margaret, this was your movie because you got the viewer's choice, the very first viewer's choice spin of the wheel. So we're of course going to want to hear your thoughts, but we're going to bring in some of these other people who will undoubtedly share their thoughts too. So let's bring in Michael.
All clear, Michael. It's safe to proceed.
Is it safe to proceed?
While you were eating.
I don't think this was the movie poster, the one that you used, the one behind Michael. If this was the movie poster, it's like, why don't you just have a poster for The Sixth Sense as Bruce Willis is dead the whole movie? It gives away the movie.
Well, we watched the trailer because we watched the Blu-ray version, and afterwards the only extra on the whole Blu-ray, because it was a bargain Blu-ray, was the original movie trailer. And like so many trailers do, it basically tells you the whole story of the movie.
Oh man.
She saves him on the railroad. She's in love with him. She saves him on the railroad tracks. Then she falls in love with his brother while he's in a coma. Like,
you first of all, how's my sound?
that's reasonable.
You sound very reasonable.
Pretty good, Joe Jr.
Second, you left out the most important parts.
All right. Well, we'll get to the most important part
boy.
because the most important parts are in the waiting room. We'll bring them in.
Madam Librarian. To infinity and beyond.
All right, I'm gonna have to merge those into one. Here,
We have to do the wide shot.
do the wide shot. Make sure we get everybody, see everybody's face. All right, now we've got everybody in.
No Gary tonight, huh?
What was that?
Gary is working. He does not think he's going to make it, but I have the text messages that he wants to share with his rating.
So if anybody's concerned, and Denise is working as well, so I don't know if we'll see for Denise tonight or not. So
And I think Adam might have recused himself ahead of time.
oh, that's a good
Well,
point.
it was a rom-com, so you knew going in he was not going to like it. So
I think Adam should absolutely participate because he's participated in every one so far. If he's going to bring down mine, he's got to bring down yours.
that's assuming he can bring himself to watch it.
Yeah, if he didn't watch it, he can't rate it.
Right. I don't say Adam is one of the 4 people who have rated every single movie. Me and Dan and Dave are the only 3, along with Adam, who have rated.
Oh my God, Cal Ripken's streak might end.
It's very possible.
That's a baseball reference, Eric.
So, Margaret, do you have anything like what So why this movie? Why Bill Pullman and Sandra Bullock?
Well, Sandra Bullock more than Bill Pullman.
Oh yeah.
But when my name came up, I was sort of leaning towards a different movie. But then you showed the comedy wheel, and I saw it on there, and I thought, oh, maybe I should pull from one of those. And I just love this movie. I mean, this just gives me all the feels. At the end, I was in tears.
That's awesome.
One of those movies that if it was on, I will watch it.
Adam would have been in tears too, but for a different reason.
Adam is here. Look, the streak is not over.
And he watched it again.
Oh.
Good job, Adam. That's
Thank you,
awesome.
Adam.
The streak is alive. So was this anybody's first viewing of While You Were Sleeping?
Okay, I was 100% sure I saw this movie. I'm like, yes, I remember. I'm sure this was in my single days in '95. I had moved back from LA back to Pittsburgh. It's before I moved to Orlando. And then I looked at the date it came out. I'm like, April of '95. Nope. I was as single as there's no way I saw this movie. There's no way, because I wouldn't have gone with a guy friend to see this movie. And the only guy friend I had
to see this?
was Eric. And Eric was married at this point.
I would have gone to see it.
No, it wasn't.
Weren't you married?
Eric
Was married.
I was.
No, not,
Yeah,
no,
I was.
not in April of '95. You got married in August of '95.
True. That's true. Not in April.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, I was still single.
So
Yeah,
maybe
it
I
is
went with
absolutely.
you and Jen. Did you go see it in the theater?
Probably it was Sandra.
Eric doesn't remember anything.
I know he doesn't.
Yeah.
This could have been your bachelor party movie, you know? Woo.
I know that was a go-kart track we went
That
to.
was a go-kart track. That's another story.
A naked go-kart track. Where would you ever find that?
So
Michael froze.
Michael froze, and I think he's trying to come back in another. There he is.
There we go. So we've got two Joe Giuliani.
Double mic. Oh. It's stereo.
We've got freaks.
Wait, I don't know which one's frozen. Hold on a second.
It was your first viewing, Dan. Do you have thoughts you want to share?
It might have been my first view. I have a few thoughts. It is a typical rom-com. I will say that. The cleft chins I already mentioned. Peter Gallagher being named Peter. I thought that was a stretch, almost a Tony Danza thing happening. Now, I of course look at the common sense stuff. So he falls, she saves him. She leaves. She no one could work on Christmas, so she had to work on Christmas. Yet she left and went to the hospital. Like, who took over? Like, who was taking tokens? Like, the whole entire subway system was down, or the train system. So that's one. And then the other thing was when her and his brother were falling on the ice. They're walking the entire way home. The touch of her apartment that there's ice. There's no ice anywhere else.
and
that to me, I thought was the worst.
The fake snow/ice did not look terribly realistic in a few scenes.
No, and their slipping was like, "Whoa, I'm falling." Yeah, it was not good. Other than that, I did actually enjoy the movie. It does, I love the happy ending type movies. I am a sucker for a rom-com.
Speaking of suckers, before we get to Michael's comment, we got to bring in Denise. All right, now we can go. Hi, Denise. All right, Michael was ready to make a very poignant discussion topic.
Well. Let's put it this way. At the end of the film, okay, Peter, who was in a coma, the girl that he thought was his fiance turns out was screwed around with his brother, and his actual girlfriend, fiance, dumps him for somebody else. So this guy at the end of this film is writing a suicide letter and probably hanging himself, because that's not happy ending for anybody.
No. He's a narcissist, and he has no idea any of that happened.
He has pictures of himself in his wallet. He is not someone to care what other people think of him.
Yes, that's true. And he had the modeling photo, which even when I was modeling, I didn't have on the middle of my desk. I agree. He was a narcissist.
You had a poster in your apartment, Michael.
When I have a poster because it's a poster from my comedy days. It's not anyway. But he went through that epiphany there, and he goes, "No, I'm going to change my life." So here's a guy who's willing to change his life, and finds out that his brother was screwing around with his fiance, and his fiance is not his fiance because she lied to his whole family.
All right.
Did you really buy that he was going through an epiphany and was really changing, or did he just give you a guy's like, "Huh? Yeah. Okay, sure, let's try something else."
Did you really buy that this woman who conned him, the family, and had Uncle Jack, Saul, as a complicit in this con job? What we were watching was the origin story of Debbie Ocean from Ocean's 8. That's what we were watching. This woman lied through the whole thing, and yes, she tried to tell them, but she didn't. But she could have, but she didn't. But she could have, but she didn't.
It's almost as ridiculous as being able to accidentally join the army.
It's almost. This is what this movie was missing, Mr. Roper, because it was just a huge episode of Three's Company.
All right, so honestly, so this is one of my points. All right, from watching this movie, Michael, give me a second.
Go ahead.
It's one of my points for this movie, and I couldn't help think about this while I was watching it, was on Friday night we did our social hour, and we talked about TV sitcoms, and so many people said that they love the best sitcoms in the world were all sitcoms that use this kind of humor throughout every episode. Dick Van Dyke, Frasier, Cheers, all sorts of and if you don't equate this movie to being representative of that kind of humor and that kind of storytelling, you're missing it, because this is so taken from that. And this could totally have been an episode of Dick Van Dyke where Lori Petrie was like, but no, no, let me tell you, that's not what's
That's
happening.
married in Maury Amsterdam.
Exactly what this was is a movie. And that's why there were so many correlations to Sandra Bullock being like Mary Tyler Moore when she became the girl next door. And so I think you're missing, you're getting caught up in the reality of it, of the oh my gosh, the storytelling isn't realistic. It's a comedy. It's played for comedy.
Hold on. So you're telling me that this is a comic setup. The girl who has a crush on a guy and can't talk to him saves his life, lies her way into the hospital, pretending to be his fiance, even though he's never met her, and then starts a relationship with a family, even though this is a stalker movie. This is one boiled rabbit short of being a horror film.
Yes.
No.
But Mike,
Differently, but
the
yeah.
same criticisms of Some Like It Hot, where you have people on the run from criminals and they're dressing up as women and checking in under assumed names and dating a guy under an assumed identity. And
Some Like It Hot doesn't have a stalker. Some Like It Hot doesn't have a stalker, and Some Like It Hot is throughout. The only funny I found in this movie, the only comedy, was Joe Jr. And I got to give credit to the actor. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. And at first you think, oh, that's a caricature. Nobody's like that. But you know what? I got a lot of family members exactly like Joe Jr. Michael Rispoli nails it.
He's excellent.
Nails it. He was one of the funny parts.
I'll make one criticism though of your opinion on this, Mike, which is the criticisms you make. I'm not saying are 100% invalid, but you can critique any movie by finding things you don't like in it. Sure, I think you go into this saying you watched it, you didn't like it. That's fine. And now you're trying to find why didn't I like this, and you're saying it's because of this and this and this. Whereas that exact same criteria, if you applied them to a movie you liked, you would not mind at all.
Absolutely.
Not true.
Agreed.
Not true. Also, because I apply this criteria to every movie I watch.
All right, now let me tell you, we haven't heard from Reagan or Stacy yet, so let's give them a chance to chime in a little bit.
Well, I wasn't able to watch it this week, but I've seen it before. I'm a big fan of Sandra Bullock. She was the first, I pick out celebrities that I kind of follow and watch all their movies and stuff, but she was kind of the first person that I started to do that with, but it's just kind of carried on. I was never obsessed, but I remember not liking it that much because I really hate rom-coms. I don't find them entertaining at all. I don't feel either. I don't cry over them. I don't know. I just don't process it the same way. I don't care about it. So
you don't feel at all.
No, if I watch this
Stacey,
movie,
what have you done, Stacey?
I just won't. No. So
I didn't know Elon Musk had joined us here.
But I liked Joe Jr. I loved him. I remember him. I don't remember exactly what was happening, but I remember how they protected her. I think it was him and his dad. I liked how the guy comes to her apartment and they don't know who he is. And I know that Joe wants to date her, but it's more of a friend protecting a friend. I remember that part. I liked that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's I remember thinking we rewatched it because Peter Gallagher was from Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. It was her dad, and I remember thinking, why? He's so ugly. Why? I just didn't get it the whole time. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So I just had those little pieces.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know. I remember not liking it as much, but I mean, it's Sandra Bullock. It was entertaining, but I just don't care about that. Joe Jr. was the only good part besides Sandra.
I find the grandmother's lines were amazingly fun.
The supporting cast in general. The supporting cast in general. Jack Warden, Peter Boyle, Glynis Johns were all excellent.
It was nice to have a nice Jewish guy.
Was the highlight for me.
All right, Denise,
15 minutes.
You joined us. Denise, do you have any thoughts over in California?
I do. So today, in honor of the Chicago holiday, I'm wearing a scarf to represent the movie, but I'm also wearing, let's see if I can show my new. And the beverage pairing tonight, it's a bit of a stretch, but I'm drinking a raspberry hibiscus sparkling water to represent the mystery jungle juice that Bill Pullman tried to save her from when he thought she was pregnant. So I actually have seen this movie before. I saw it back in the day when it came out, and my memory of it was a lot, and my distaste for it was a lot along the lines of what Michael described, that she was so deceitful and that she was like pushing her way in.
It's like
And I'll
cringy.
be honest, when I watched it, I thought, she was just along for the ride. Like, sure, she didn't speak up and correct them, but she actually didn't misrepresent herself. She was just misinterpreted. And I have to admit, it was sweeter than I expected it to be, sweeter than I remembered it. So apparently we've gotten to that point in quarantine where I'm like rom-com. So we got to get out of this. But I will say one thing it did remind me of, throwback, to the quarantine times. I forgot how much fun it can be to have an irrational crush.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out where the echo is coming from, so I was muting everybody else for a second.
I'm hearing it too.
Okay. So I forgot how fun it is to have an irrational crush in the grocery store. So like seeing how excited she got when this gentleman walked by, it was kind of fun to be reminded of what it's like on the outside of your living room. But I will say the only thing I found really creepy in this movie, like this time, was when she and Bill Pullman are like standing there and the whole family thinks that she's engaged to the brother and they make them kiss under the mistletoe. Kind of strange way to introduce your brother.
A lot strange.
Right? But I will say overall, it was much more like entertaining than I remembered it being. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's Eric.
Let me Eric, it's the echo.
It's Eric's speaker.
All right.
Let me rewrite the beginning of the movie to show you how they're supposed to improve it.
Well, before
I'm going to rewrite the beginning.
Wait. Before you do anything, I just want to tell you how much you ruined the movie for me, Michael, because you made that comment about it's a psycho thriller action mystery, whatever you called it.
Let's read it. Our first thriller crime film. I'm looking forward to the discussion. Dan replies, I watched it with your comment in mind. There were a few plot twists that could make your statement true if they happened. Can't wait to hear your thoughts behind this one. I replied, oh, you will. His reply, is it a Christmas movie? My vote is no, since we released it in April. My reply, Miracle on 34th Street was released in July, so your argument is invalid. Dan, since you insist on arguing any position I take, you are a smart and handsome man. My response, finally you got one right. If I may say, you are also an intelligent and attractive man.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Okay.
However,
I would like to go on record. I would like to go on record real quick and saying, I love all you people. Dan and I, we go way back, and you're like a brother that, I never wanted. Eric, you're such a sweetheart. I can't imagine anyone not falling for you. You're wonderful. Dave, you are one of the smartest people I know. You have more trivial information at your fingertips than I do, and I got a lot. And Margaret, it is such a sweet person to meet, and you two are such a great couple. Reagan and Stacy, you are so Reagan, you're such a young woman. Stacy, you should be proud of what you raised. Denise, you are so adorable, and I think Gary has a crush on you.
Wow. All right. And I just want to say,
what's going on?
Welcome to Comedy Central's Reverse Roast.
So how long do you have to live, Mike?
Yes.
And how long
what did you say about Reagan? Because I missed it. It garbled.
Reagan is such a well-adjusted young woman because Stacy is an amazing mom, apparently.
Apparently.
Totally. Laughing in the background.
We'll get to it later. We'll get to it later. I watched I Love You Too.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem is I put that in my mind that's what was going on. So I'm watching the movie going, there's going to be a point where those muggers were like set on purpose to knock him off to get his briefcase. And now the doctor gives her the briefcase. So now the briefcase is at her house and they want to come get it. I'm like, wait, that
it
was
turns
another
into
movie
What's Up, Doc, where they're chasing the bag full of diamonds.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy I ruined it.
You're so happy you ruined it. That's so nice. All right, we have some comments I want to throw up real quick on the screen here. Gary says that he knows why they gave the movie this title. He wished he was. Tammy is in the comments. She's here, and she says that she's seen the movie too. There we go. Gary gives Denise a compliment for her wonderful commitment to the show. And Gary wants to know if Michael's drunk. So, all right. So we've got some comments. We've got some people in the comment section who have watched the movie or at least watching this as well.
Well, I haven't commented yet. I mean,
no, I was gonna mention
a little bit. I mean, it is. I completely agree. It is in the sense that it is a straightforward, formulaic in many ways rom-com.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, so if you hate rom-coms, you're not going to like it. But even if you like rom-coms, some rom-coms stink. And some rom-coms are good. I mean, we watched When Harry Met Sally already on this podcast or on this video, and that's certainly an enjoyable movie and has done extremely well over the years, has spawned catchphrases that people still quote. This is an above average, if not great, rom-com. It's above average. In my opinion, in this, I can only speak for me, I liked the characters. What you have to feel in a rom-com is you hope they get together. If you can't feel that, you're not going to like it. And I did. I hope they got together, and they did. I thought the supporting cast was just hysterical. Glynis Johns, from Mary Poppins on, she's just wonderful. I've always enjoyed her, even though she hasn't done that many high-profile roles. And she's really excellent. She has some of the best lines. She and Joe Jr. have the best lines in this.
Yes.
In this movie.
The laugh out loud lines.
Yes, absolutely. The laugh out loud lines. And I mean, there are a few, like Jack Warden has talking about Argentina, they got good beef down there. Beef and Nazis. So there was some clever writing in this. And the other thing with the rom-com is you have to, because every rom-com, you start out, you meet the characters, something goes wrong. In your most formulaic Hallmark rom-com, it's going to be really simplistic and some really dumb misunderstanding. Well, it is a misunderstanding, but there's a little bit of a clever gimmick that she falls for the one guy, and then he spends most of the movie in a coma, and she falls for the other guy. It was reasonably clever, and so I enjoyed that. I thought Bill Pullman was a little bit stiff, to be honest, but I liked him. He was still very likable. He was just sort of a little stiff. Maybe it was just in comparison to the other characters. I thought Peter Gallagher was excellent. I thought because he was so shallow. I mean, even when he seemed to be turning a new leaf, you really didn't buy it. You thought it was going to last 5 minutes. At least I did. And then when he comes in at the end, and it turns out the woman he's proposed to is already married. It's just like, okay, that's the dot on the I of his character right there. That's everything you needed to know.
Yeah, the other problem I had
that's the end of the suicide note.
I don't know, because he ended up keeping her cat probably.
Yeah.
So that's it for me. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's not a great movie, but it's an enjoyable movie and one I'll probably see again, and an above average rom-com.
Yeah, I mean, every comedy has that the Peter Brady. Remember the Peter Brady who was dating two girls and he had to go into, or he was two different people, or I forget what it was. He had kept changing and going in and out of the room and kept missing each other. It's an old tool in the comedy toolbox.
You guys mentioned rom-coms, and I love a good rom-com. And there's some I watch over and over again, like When Harry Met Sally is one.
And Schindler's List.
Most musicals are essentially rom-coms that I've watched again and again. There's good movies, there's good ones, and there's bad ones. There's all that stuff. I will say that yes, I love all the actors, I love all the parts, but there's stuff that let's rewrite the beginning real quick. Instead of she saves his life and then pretends she's his fiance, she saves his life and goes to the hospital. And first of all, if the entire family, 3 generations of family, show up at the hospital at the same time, they know whether or not this guy's engaged. Because, despite the fact that he's separated from them, they don't all show up at once like they're engaged. So we rewrite it. Instead of she pretends to be engaged, they pretend she's engaged to him.
That's what I always thought too.
She saved his life. They bring him in, and she's concerned, and because she's so likable, they fall for her and spend the movie trying to convince her to marry that he's for her because they don't like his ex-wife. And then we have some more situations. The rest of the movie will play out just the same without that creepy stalker. She's Glenn Close from Disastrous Intentions.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's just as enjoyable a film and I would have liked it a lot more.
Well,
just with a tiny change, yeah.
Let's review the fact that it made 182 million. It did okay with the script they had.
That's 330 in today's dollars.
Zack Snyder's the first version of Justice League made 300 million, and we all know. So that's not.
We all know.
Well,
we'll talk about.
I do have some freaky facts, and one of them was going to be this, but it's not going to be, so I can say it. The movie was originally written with a female that was in the coma and a guy It was the roles were reversed, and they thought that was too predatory.
Yes.
Okay.
So they flipped it.
So yeah, so
Why
it's
does
better
that
because it's
change
Sandra
that?
Bullock.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and
It's
also,
interesting how that changes it.
well,
Do you
I
want
have some
to get
freaky
your
facts. So yeah, let's do some freaky facts.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, so freaky.
Originally, it was Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore.
Ew.
That's what was considered. They're both in negotiations. Patrick would have been Jack, not Peter.
When you were a ghost.
Yes. While you were dead is what.
While you were
Oh, you were dead.
While G.I. Jane was sleeping.
Yes. And I did, and Gary did do the obvious joke, and I remember this. I do remember, the reviews being, while you were sleeping, there's a movie going on, and you woke up and missed the entire thing. The location of the Callahan's home and the church where Lucy's parents were married were both in LaGrange, a suburb of Chicago, and they both have the same address, 203. One's on 8th Avenue, and one was in South Kensington Avenue, but they're both 203. I thought that's freaky, isn't it? No? All right. Michael, this one's for you. When Jack and Peter were playing 7-card stud poker, Peter was in a coma, of course, and Jack was dealing cards for both of them. Jack's winning cards were aces and eights, which are called what?
The dead man's hand.
Is that ironic?
No way.
Or is that just coincidence?
That is irony.
That's irony. Okay.
Well, unless they did it on purpose.
Jack.
Well, I assume the scriptwriter did it on
I'm sure
purpose.
that was. Jack, other parts that other people that they were considering for Jack Callahan, James Spader.
Oh.
That would have been an interesting person. And Dylan McDermott, not Dermot Mulroney.
Like instead of the
And the final one, I actually have two of them. I don't know if this is 5 or not. It might be more. At the Callahan's Christmas party, Glynis John says, "I don't drink anymore. I don't drink any less either." And Jack Warden, who was also in that scene, gave that exact same line 31 years earlier in an episode of Bewitched.
Oh.
Or
Jack Warden was on Bewitched?
Bewitched, it shouldn't have
That's a
happened to a
good
dog.
show.
No, a movie. I'm sorry. There's a movie called Bewitched.
Oh.
Yeah, because 1964.
Like Will Ferrell?
No.
Or was it a different one?
Earlier than that, Jack
Oh, no,
Warden.
That one was, I didn't like that one.
It is episode 3 of season 1 of Bewitched. After Darren's
Yeah.
client makes a pass at Samantha, she turns him into a dog and then loses him.
I remember that one.
And he
Yes.
says, "I don't drink anymore. I don't drink any less either."
One of the black and white episodes.
Wow.
Way
Jack
back.
Warden was a hottie when he was young. Have you ever seen that Twilight Zone episode?
Oh yeah,
Jack Warden was jacked for real.
and he was in
Really?
12 Angry Men too. He's done some great movies.
Yes. And then the final one is Peter says his birth date is 3/11/59, which makes him about 35 years old in the movie. Peter Gallagher was actually 40 at the time. And Bill Pullman, who plays his younger brother Jack, is actually older than Peter by a couple of years.
Although he does look younger.
He does.
And Sandra Bullock
Yeah.
is like 28.
And the eyebrows. Holy crap, those eyebrows.
That's what I'm saying. Ugh.
Put them back on, Eric. Put those back on. Real
I
quick.
love
Well, come
Peter
on.
Gallagher. First movie.
Put one on. There you go.
You have to remember, Rico Classic was married to Paulina Porizkova, so you can never be sure who a woman's going to be attracted to.
Right. Because he had the big Adam's apple. She was
And
into Adam's
who's
apple.
Lyle Lovett was married to
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts, yeah.
Melania Trump.
Well, let's not go.
That's obvious.
All right. So does anybody have any comments before we actually start to throw a number on this thing? Anybody want to?
I would like to add one or two more tiny things.
Sure.
This film has its pluses and minuses. I would like to say Peter Gallagher, I've been watching him since The Idolmaker, one of the coolest films I'd ever seen. Peter Gallagher was such a great, slightly confused, just out of a comatose guy. He really nailed the role. Bill Pullman, I don't think he was wooden. Bill Pullman's another one of those really good everyman characters. And if you have an everyman in that role, you put yourself in his position. So I get it. Of course, Sandra Bullock, everybody loves her, and whatever she does, it's hard to hate her, even in this movie. But and Glynis Johns, how does no one mention the pellet with the poisons and the vessel with the pestle, the chalice with the palace is
the court jester? Yeah, I absolutely. Danny Kaye and Glynis Johns. Oh, absolutely, it's a brilliant movie.
She was so sexy in that movie. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Now let's get to the rating. I'm ready.
All right.
Well, let's not forget Peter Gallagher.
The chalice with the palace has the brew that is true.
And,
Whoa.
Peter
But wait,
Gallagher
they
has the
dropped-
brow that is
they dropped
now.
the chalice for the palace, and it's been replaced with a flagon with the
flagon with
picture
the
of dragon. Yes, the flagon with the dragon is the pellet with the
Wow.
poison, and the pestle with the vessel is the
Guys,
fruit
you
of
give
his
me
brew.
so much work to edit now. I don't want to
Wow.
edit.
So let's not ignore that Sandra Bullock, right after this, released The Net, and Bill Pullman came out with Casper. So they both have big clubs. But
And by the way, Peter Gallagher was fantastic on Californication. If you've never seen that show,
He's always good.
Yes.
yeah,
He's always good.
he's a really good actor. You realize when you watch him in this movie, there was a moment where the reaction in his face. He said like 9 words before one word came out of his mouth. There's a couple times where it's just like, and the eyebrows. I mean, I think they're union. I think they're definitely getting.
He's like that. He's in a show called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and he played her dad, and I really liked him in that. Like, I just think that he's not cute, but it was just like he's really good. Like, I like watching him. He played a man that was he was sick with something, but he couldn't talk eventually, and he was really, really sick, and he played that really, really well. It was really cool to watch him because he's really sick, but then Zoe hears people's internal songs and monologues and stuff through songs and stuff. So her dad sings to her to communicate because she has this weird thing going on. But like he can't talk at all. So it was really cool to watch him in like both of those. Yeah, he's good.
His best line in this was when he's saying, well, there's something about Lucy. And Bill Pullman goes on this big elaborate monologue of all things. And he goes, no, that's not it.
And they never touched on the fact that like he opened his eyes for a second and saw her on the train tracks.
Right.
Like when she saved him and then passed back out. Like
Well,
there should have been some sort of callback to, you know, I remember I got hit and I saw an angel. It was you.
He does mention at some point that you look familiar, but that could also apply to the fact that he sees her every day when he drops off the token.
Or that he has a head injury.
Reagan, if you get a chance, find a movie called The Idol Maker. Peter Gallagher was like 25 when that movie was made, and you might see him in a slightly different light.
Okay.
Because he's naked.
Well, hey now. All right. Let's throw numbers.
The EriDan rating bot 6000 is now activated.
Calculating.
All right. So as always, we're going to poll the panel for numbers from 1 to 100 of their thoughts about While You Were Sleeping. Gary already shared his number in the chat. Let me find that here. He's starting off with a 53 as dip counter. So he's starting a little bit low. And we'll see where we go from here. Is anybody want to start off with us now?
I could go.
Okay, Dave. Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I've already said most of what I have to say about it. The only other thing I'll mention is one gimmick they used in this, and it can be an overused gimmick, but they made it kind of work, which was the way they made you sympathize with her more and really want her to get together with him more was by taking away her whole family so she was alone. She then pulled for her because she had no one else in her life to find a family. And that's also why you sort of could forgive her being deceitful, because she found a family that she had not known. And even though her dad had only passed away a year before, even then she was clearly an only child. Her mom had died many years before. So you sort of they sort of played that heartstring a little obviously, but it still kind of worked for me. So I give it, like I said, it's an above average rom-com for me. So I give it a solid B, so like an 82.
82. All right, excellent. Margaret, this was yours. Do you want to? What are your thoughts?
Go around the horn that way.
My thoughts. I love the guy's family, the extended family. I love all of that love they're showing to each other, and my heart goes out to her. My heart just goes out. But and I do feel for her, and you want this all to work. And so when it does, and it's all beautiful, and then it all throws back to that he gave her the world, and she got a stamp in her passport, and all of this stuff, going back to her dad. And it's just, so as I say, I absolutely love this movie. I'm going with a 90.
90. Very nice. Excellent. Now, are we going around, or are we
Yeah,
gonna?
you're up, Eric.
Oh, I'm gonna go. Okay, I'll go next. I agree. You know, I don't like movies with misunderstandings, right? And so, I haven't watched this movie in a long, long time, and I was sort of like, all right, this might be that uncomfortable humor, and it really wasn't for me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just delightful. And for me, it really did harken back to a lot of the sitcoms that we talked about on Friday. Like, I felt like this is right in line with that kind of humor and that kind of like, oh, wacky situation that really wouldn't happen. But just super happy, just super fun. It was a great time watching it. I love rom-coms. I do. When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail, even sign me up. I'm good. If it's on, I'm gonna watch it. That's great. So for me, this is just really solid. I gave it an 87. Dan,
I too liked it. I'm getting echo again, so I'm just trying to mute some other people to see. I'm just mute everybody for a second. I think that it is a good movie. It is a good rom-com. It's one of the top, I would say, if you have a top 20 list of rom-coms that you just, have to watch, if it's on, I'm going to watch it. Like, we always use that as a thing. There were a couple plot points that I was like, they took the easy route. But overall, I mean, you fall in love with Sandra Bullock, and you do fall in love with the family. And when he shows up at the end, if you don't shed a tear, you're dead inside. So I'm giving it a solid 90.
Ooh,
I really, and I have my mom's score here too.
Oh wow,
next week she's at book club. My mom gives it an 88. She's seen it a couple of times, and she really thought it was a very cute movie.
Very nice. All right, Denise, you got to there you go.
Yep. So I had seen this movie before, and in this case, I'm really glad my memory did not serve me well, because I enjoyed it much more than I remember enjoying it. Like everyone shared, the family, when they were sitting around the dinner table and like Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman are trying to hold back their laughter because they're like quipping about like, no, I said he was tall. I didn't say that. Like, I mean, if you don't see your family in that, or maybe just I see my family in that. I just felt like that was everyone's family. That part kind of won it over for me. I'm not a huge fan of Sandra Bullock, generally speaking, so she wasn't my favorite part, but I liked her more than I generally do in her roles. I feel like she always plays those. I don't know. There's something about the role she typically plays that I don't care for, but I liked her in this. I remembered that Peter Gallagher was in this because, like Reagan, I watched Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and the first thing I thought was like, oh my gosh, the guy from While You Were Sleeping. Completely forgot that Bill Pullman was in that. And I do also really like Bill Pullman in The Sinner, and he will always and forever be Lone Star to me from Spaceballs. So because I like Bill Pullman, I really liked this movie. I liked the family. Not a huge fan of rom-coms, but I would watch it again, so I give it a 70.
Nice. Wow. Very nice. All right, and we've got one.
That makes this our second Bill Pullman movie. Who knew?
That's right. We've got one from Tammy in the comments giving it an 85. So thank you, Tammy. All right, Michael.
Look, she pretends to be his fiance, so she see him in the hospital. Right from the beginning, this is restraining order territory. And the family shows up, and she continues.
She didn't pretend. She said, "I was going to marry him."
Let him talk.
I know.
She gets a chance to confess, but doesn't. So this is like a soap opera villain at this point. And of course, the family accepts her over time, and they fall for her. Okay, fine. But meanwhile, she's seducing the brother while manipulating him into thinking he's betraying his comatose brother. Now, the first time I saw this film, I actually enjoyed it, but I was a young kid. Then the second time I saw it, months later on HBO, I'm going, something about this gets me. I don't know something's not right. Third time I saw it, I'm going, I don't know. And when and this is the first time I've seen it in like a decade, and it all fell into place what the problems were. If this were made as a dark comedy, it would be perfect. Or a twisted crime flick, it would be perfect. If we rewrote the beginning, it would be perfect. This movie is 33.
Wow.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know I already spoke, but Michael, I disagree. She did not seduce Bill Pullman. He seduced her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael, you've never been seduced.
I've never had to be seduced.
Oh, okay.
Even worse.
Wow. All right.
Listen,
Wow.
women throw themselves at me. I don't know why.
It's
How about
when you throw cash at them, they tend to do that.
Their purse, you know.
In the contract. Okay. Let's hear from Stacy. Stacy, save us from this.
Okay.
it, Mom.
Oh man.
Adam.
We watched this because of Zoe's extraordinary playlist, I think, because we were
The
trying to
second
figure
time.
out where we knew Peter Gallagher from.
The
Because
OC.
I've never seen him in anything else except this movie and Zoe.
What about the OC?
And- no,
Mm-mm.
not a thing. No,
No.
All
I've been old my whole life, Dan. I don't watch much.
Same.
So,
Here's
anyway,
a shirt for you.
yeah. God. So anyway, I like romantic comedies because I always have. They just are fun, and some of these things are like, yeah, because like Eric was saying, when some mishap is happening, it's kind of annoying and cringy, and I get that. But they handle it pretty well. That's what the whole point of these movies are, I think, is the stupidness. And a lot of us have stupid things happen in our lives. Nothing this stupid, but stuff happens. But I like Sandra Bullock. I like Bill Pullman. I do not like Jack Warden, sadly to say. I never liked him. He creeps me out. I don't know why. I think it's from the movie Used Cars, because wasn't he dead in that movie? And it was creepy. Anyway, sorry.
There's a mile of cars.
But he just that's why. And but I like everything else about the movie. I don't like the wedding in the hospital where she's almost marrying Peter Gallagher.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that part.
Why do they have to do it so quick?
Yeah, exactly. It made
That's
no
what I
sense. He's not dying. He's alive.
Yeah, that part's a little weird.
That was a little forced, yeah.
So I didn't like that part. It was creepy, and but it's got the Christmas lights. Get me with Christmas lights every time. I know, and the big old ones. I'm weird, but so I would say I would give it a B, also like an 85.
Nice. Hey, Reagan. I think
When Sandra Bullock walks up and sees the house with all the Christmas lights lit up, you could just tell right away, I can't bring myself to walk away from this.
Right. Exactly, because she's got a thing for Christmas lights.
Right. Absolutely. All right, Reagan, before you give yours, we'll share that Adam gave it a 40. So,
Wow.
So
Hey, he
between
watched
Barry
it.
and Mike.
but he watched it, so absolutely.
I don't know. I think that I'm gonna play it safe with a 75 because I don't have any major problems with it. Like I just don't like romantic comedies. But the reason I watched it was because whenever I was 14, my mom was like, "Oh, here's this movie," and it was Miss Congeniality, and I really liked Sandra Bullock for whatever reason. I just really like her. I don't watch all of her stuff, but I watch a lot of her stuff because of her. But that's why I watched this one the first time. I've only seen it twice. And I don't know. I think it's the romantic comedy. I don't know. But I do agree with Michael in the way. Like, I don't think that it was. There should have been like one thing to make it less creepy. Like what he said in the very beginning. It should have been the family being like, "Oh, who are you?" Or, "Oh, you're his fiance," or something, because he has a fiance that they don't know. So they could have easily made that to be, they think that that's her, and
Right.
like that's what it could have been, to be a lot less creepy, because I understand why somebody might feel like it's kind of weird, but I don't know, it's just, I don't know, it's not my favorite, but I don't have anything wrong with it to say that. It's just like, I don't know, it's just something that's like not on my radar, I guess. But yeah, I guess I'd play it safe with the 75.
I mean, I think that if they did that, they could have said, "We'll just tell him he has amnesia and he doesn't remember you."
Except he really didn't have a
Exactly.
fiance.
Exactly.
Remember, he
They have
asked her
the
to marry him,
amnesia,
and she turned him
or
down.
better yet,
Right.
he wakes up with actual amnesia and can't remember
Yeah,
like the previous
it could have
6 or
been
8 months.
a lot better.
And you get to wake him up sooner. We get more Peter Gallagher.
Yeah.
Dan, you want to share the poster? I want to show Idolmaker just so Reagan gets a look at Peter when he was younger. And then I got another one of him. Hold on, right here.
Why do you have so many pictures of Peter Gallagher?
That's your desktop.
I just picked them up. I just picked them up.
Sure you did.
Come on. Let's take this one. There you go.
Nah.
He looks a little like he could have played Freddie Mercury in the.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Probably could have. Yeah.
Valens and La Bamba. Well, there you
one
go.
more.
He does look better. I mean, but
Better.
his daughter looks like him now, and that's a shock.
He's
not gonna
person who's
lie.
always been old.
Yeah. See, he looks okay there. Yeah.
He was trimming his eyebrows in this and that.
Those are some eyebrows. Mine.
And
Those
that's
are
before he
some
got the
eyebrows.
caps.
Yeah.
That's before he got the caps on his teeth.
Yep.
Wow.
And the caps on his eyebrows. Yeah.
Well, definitely a respectable showing. Some different opinions throughout the night. I actually got this updated already. It ended up right towards the lower middle column. 73.17. Actually, just a 0.01% below the state. So it
I
is
agree with that. Yeah.
inches in there. Yes, man, an enemy of the state.
Oh, that's right. That was just last week when Will Smith's character had the thing that he didn't know he had, and that's why I was in my head that in his briefcase was something these guys were going after. They were going to come kill Sandra Bullock.
You wanted an action movie,
and Sandra Bullock. Well, Michael made me think it was one. Sandra Bullock. There's a resemblance to Michael Jackson in Sandra Bullock. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Good. Look at Sandra Bullock.
maybe that's what Michael Jackson was going for towards.
I think he was going for the Sandra Bullock look.
He's like, give me the Sandra Bullock.
You have now ruined Sandra Bullock for me.
Yes.
Good, because I'm sure you know. Okay, whatever.
That was his plan.
Yeah, that was my plan.
You ruined the movie for him. He ruined Sandra Bullock for you. So that's fair. All right. Well, now it is time, I think, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the discussion of what we will watch next week. All right. Are we ready for this Wheel of Reels business?
Sure. I don't know.
All right. Let me bring up the wheel. And then, sorry, I'm still stuck on the
you're on the names.
On the names wheel. We got to find out if we're going to go there first. So first, of course, we will be spinning the wheel to determine what category we will be viewing from. So I'm going to give that a spin now.
Roll your D3.
There it goes. Sometimes it. Oh my goodness! It's a choice. What are the chances? So excellent. So once again, we need to know if you're in the comment section and you want to be on the Wheel of Reels as we do a viewer's choice.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Wow.
I just Googled Michael Jackson versus Sandra Bullock. First picture that came up.
Yeah, people used to compare like
Okay, so
whenever I went to school, people would talk about it all the time.
Okay, it wasn't just me. All right, that's all.
I will never look at her the same again.
I'll never look at Michael Jackson the same.
Either way. So if you're in the comments, please let us know that you're live with us right now so that we can make sure that we include you. If there's anybody with us who does not want their name on the wheel, please speak now or forever hold your peace. Denise is taking a pass on the wheel, which is totally fine. And I don't know. Jonathan and Lisa were with us last week. I don't know if they're with us. Adam is here. So I'm going to remove Jonathan and Lisa because we haven't heard from them all night. Gary is not with us, does not seem to be in the comments anymore. So I will drop Gary.
Gary.
Margaret, since you got last week, we're going to leave you disabled, Margaret, for this week. So we're going to let everybody get a choice, a chance at the viewer's choice. And so remember, if you are chosen, you will need to have a movie in mind.
You can leave me disabled, but I'm completely off here.
Oh, are you on? No, you get to be on here.
Where am I?
Yes, we didn't put you on last week.
Right.
Because you had dominated.
Hey, I can spin. What can I say?
April. So I think you have not had a viewer's choice, so I think you get to stay on the wheel, Dave.
I made the most lopsided deal with the devil ever. I always get to come up on wheels when they spin.
You can also drop Susan. My mom's not on right now.
Oh, your mom's not with us. That's right. All right. Anybody else in the comments? I'm assuming Adam is still live with us.
Yes,
I don't know if Tammy would have a movie to recommend or not. She was in the comments a few moments later.
Wait.
Oh, she's back.
She's back.
Oh, put her back. Put her back.
Let's get
Took
her
some
in.
time.
All right.
There is a slight delay while we there is actually still no new merch in the EriDan shop. But if you're interested, today I believe is the last day for the 20% off at eridanshop.com.
Until the next time.
Until the next time. There'll be more deals, but yes, I think this particular campaign ends tonight. So if you're interested,
act now.
Act now.
Do posters?
They don't do posters. That's a good
One of these.
We could probably come up with a poster.
They do stickers, so you could go to Home Depot and pick up some tile squares and put the stickers on top. It'd be just as good. All right, Tammy is not saying anything in the comments, so I'm assuming that Tammy is either not with us or does not have a movie in mind that she would recommend. I think we're good.
Act now or forever hold your peace.
All right. I'm gonna give it a shuffle because we didn't. It's been. You never know. Let's. This is how Dave's deal with the devil works. So we got to shuffle it first.
Double shuffle.
Huh?
Double shuffle. Very good.
Double shuffle. I did. I think we're ready to go. Let's find out who gets to choose our movie for next Monday. Oh, it's a big spin. It's a big spin. Oh, and it's Dan.
Oh, shit.
What? that's. I believe that's similar to the reaction that Margaret had last week when her name came up.
There's a few movies that I would do, but I think I'm going to go with the first time travel movie I ever saw.
Oh boy,
the one that hooked me on time travel.
The Time Machine.
Not the Time Machine, and I only saw it because we got Showtime. No, not Showtime. Spotlight.
Ooh, I love
Oh my gosh.
Shine and bright day and night. We go where's Spotlight? And we had a little box. We had to slide. You put on channel 3 and slide the tab over to get Spotlight.
Wow.
And I loved Superman, and I loved Christopher Reeve, and the movie will be Somewhere in Time.
No.
No.
Michael.
Because I don't want Michael to be on next week.
Ouch.
That movie is rough.
I like when Dave picks, because he and I have similar tastes in movie. Eric, I've been thinking back. You and I seem to get the short end of the stick on this. I don't really think since I've been on, we've watched more than one movie from you.
We got mixed nuts.
I think you and I are getting the short end of the stick.
You got mixed nuts from Eric.
Yeah, I did do mixed
That
nuts
was before me. That was since I've been on.
And was when Harry Met Sally yours?
When Harry Met Sally was not since Michael's joined us.
Oh, okay.
When Harry Met Sally
since I've been on.
Buck Privates.
I'm
That was
trying.
me. That was my one.
Yeah,
That
Michael
was
did.
my one. And,
All right,
and as far as I
I've
know,
had
Eric
two.
had one. Why? Since I've been here.
I think
I got two. This is my second one, I think.
I think I had Joe versus the volcano, but that's the
yes.
point of the viewer choice wheel, is that eventually everybody else, sooner or later, there'll be nothing to spin. It'll just be Michael by himself on the wheel. So it's coming. You just gotta,
Strangely enough, it won't come up.
that's also a possibility.
What'll happen?
I'm
Dave
pretty
will come
sure
up
it's
that week.
rigged.
It could be. It very possibly is rigged.
You'll get a 404 error on the website when you spin it with just Mike on the wheel.
Everybody.
The good thing is we can now take Somewhere in Time off of the. It was on one of the other wheels.
Yes, I will remove that from the other wheels, from the non-comedy wheel, and so that will.
And there's a lot wrong with the movie. I'm not going to say there's not.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in years though, so I'm sure I'm going to.
I will say,
If we only watch perfect movies, we'd never watch a movie. So
yeah,
I agree. I love me some Christopher Plummer in that movie. I really
yeah.
do.
Jane Seymour, come on.
I do love Christopher Plummer.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it first came out, I watched it a bunch of times because I'm not going to spoil it, but there's that one scene where I just go, oh no!
I've never looked at a penny the same way.
Did you hear they're making a sequel to
I
Knives
didn't
Out?
want to spoil it, but there you go.
No, you don't know what I'm saying. You don't know what it is if you haven't seen it.
All right.
I realize he won't be in it, but did you hear they're making a sequel to Knives Out? Yeah.
Wait a second.
Oh,
Has
yes,
everybody
I are.
seen that? Because was I not the only person who knew immediately that it was Chris Evans? I was like, that's who it is. Immediately I knew it.
I
And
didn't-
nobody else, they were like, how'd you know? And I was like, that's who it is. And my friends were like, we were at the movie theater at school. And I was like, this is what's going to happen. And they were like, how do you just stop seeing movies with us? Like, that's how it was. It was just, I just knew immediately. And there he was sitting there.
Be careful,
I
you're
was like,
turning to
whatever.
Mike.
Let's rewind for a second. You were at the movie theater in school.
Yeah, so Edinburgh has this little movie theater, and they played like Frozen 2. Like they played them like a couple months after they come out in our theater, and it's like $1, and you get popcorn and stuff. Yeah.
Robert Morris has a bowling alley, at least they used to, and I had like almost like a 212. I was alone. There was nobody there. It was during Thanksgiving break, and we had the basketball team had the whole place to ourselves, and I bowled by myself.
So they, somewhere in time, not currently streaming for free anywhere, but available for purchase from all the major services and your local library, of course.
Possibly. It might not be there.
Yeah, that one may be a little old even for them.
Dan has all the copies from the local library.
Yeah, I've got a whole shelf full of them. I can mail some out.
I'll wait for my Netflix DVD to arrive in the mail.
And it's Christopher Reeve is probably the worst actor in the movie.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing with this movie.
That is amazing. Well, so that's it. Thank you, Dan, for choosing. It'll be definitely different.
Other than Hoosiers, what other movie did I pick? I mean, Michael's making it sound like I pick every movie.
No, I say you pick every. I said Eric and I feel like we're getting the shaft.
Eric's had way more movies than
I've had. For
That
season
was before
we
my
got
time.
a lot more opportunities, but
that was BM.
That was before my time.
Yeah, that was before Mike.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
You're gonna get a chance. I have a feeling it's coming sooner or later.
There's BM and then there's post M. Wait.
But there's been plenty of movies you've enjoyed.
Oh, that's true. I'm not. I love Dave's. I love Dave's taste in movies. Adam surprised me with the one he picked. The Tim Robbins one. He surprised me with that. Dan and I have some good comic taste. I'm looking forward to see what Denise comes up with. Tell you the truth.
In some ways, it's more fun when someone else picks because you get a chance to see a movie that you may not have seen for a long time or a movie you may have never seen. If you're always picking your own, yeah, it's fun because you know you're going to see a movie you love, but
it's like a nose.
Yeah.
If you pick your own nose, it's not as much fun as picking someone else's.
Exactly.
Right.
He speaks from experience. All right, let's do this. So hopefully people have had a chance to watch more than just while you were sleeping. So has anybody watched anything of note this week?
Gilmore Girls.
I got a bunch.
Let's hear it.
First of all, Reagan. I watched I Love You Too. It was good, but there were a couple things that bugged me. Like,
Understandably.
I'm not going to spoil it. But the sudden event that happens to Peter Dinklage, that came out of nowhere for me.
But can I tell you about it?
Go ahead.
Because
I don't know if we spoil it in case somebody else wants.
I won't. I'll try not to. So you remember whenever we talked about the apartment, and at the very end, I said there's this character that something happens with him, but he meets that girl like right before, and it's about the whole time people are making comments about like this issue that she had, like with like the catalogs and stuff like that. Like every single time you see something about Francesca, it's only about the modeling that she does. And so whenever that happens, it's about him and Beth, but he meets her because the whole movie is about like love. It's about actual love. It's not about I bought her a commitment ring. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. My friend had this problem too, but it made so much sense to me because it's like he is showing her, even though he doesn't get the chance to, go further with that, but like he's showing her what actual love is because everybody treats her like a swimsuit model. You know what I mean? So that was something that really bothered me with that. But then they kissed right before and I was like, what the heck? And I think that it was just to show that she actually had a good time with him and wasn't like, oh, like a charity case. You know what I mean?
I'm talking about the event on the stairs. I'm talking about the
I
event on
know.
the stairs. That came out of the blue, and I'm going, why? But I did like how it made the ending kind of appealing. I do have a little trouble with your publicist reads all these letters. If you're that popular, you're handed thousands of letters. It looked like she was expecting a certain person, but how do you since she didn't read the letter, how does she know the publicist handed her the letter from the guy she was expecting? That was kind of a glitch that bugged me. I do love the promise ring as the main plot point, that the guy couldn't commit to, even though he clearly loved her, he couldn't commit to telling her. That was all some good stuff. It was an enjoyable film.
It was so sweet.
Not one I think I like as much as you did, and certainly I'm not going to go looking for it again. But I thank you for the recommend. It was a good one.
Yeah.
By the way, anyone else, when you guys recommend stuff, sometimes I try to tune in on them. So when I do recommends, for example, Dan mentioned the new TV series that's on Netflix, Jupiter Ascending. Oh my God, it was so good. I breezed through it in 1 week. I breezed through the whole thing in a week. It was so good. I love a period piece, and the stuff that took place in the 30s just really was wonderful. The origin story in the 30s was so good, and they tied it in with the modern stuff really well. I just wish that they were a little bit longer each stretch. Like it was about 4 minutes and then 4 minutes. I wish that they had made each scene, present and past, last a little longer instead of so much gas between. But if you guys get a chance to watch it, so good. And then I went down a slight rom-com rabbit hole, and crap, I can't remember the other rom-coms I watched that I had to cleanse my palate from that travesty that
well, they're clearly memorable because you can't remember them.
No, I wrote them down, and I can't remember what I did with the list. I watched so much stuff this week, and you know what? I think, guys, honestly, I think I'm having brain fog left over from COVID, because there's a lot of stuff that I cannot remember anymore from recent. In the last year, I'm having trouble recalling recent events, and I'm a little scared.
It's also age.
Yep.
No, I think he's right. I think
I get that way too.
Well, I think
because of COVID.
I was having crazy dreams like the first 3 or 4 months, because I wasn't seeing anybody else other than my family, and we weren't even doing like a ton of Zoom stuff for work yet.
Yeah.
And it was like the first 3 weeks, like I did almost nothing but watch shows and do this every night, and I would have these very vivid, imaginative, crazy dreams, and I don't have them as much anymore.
Yeah.
Although the shot wore off after Friday night. I mean, I wrote down a bunch of stuff afterwards. I wrote some pretty funny stuff, I think.
You were
I might need to go get vaccinated every 4 weeks.
You were fading.
You were cranky.
I found my list.
I wrote some really funny stuff.
I watched Magic in the Moonlight with Colin Firth and Emma Stone, and this one, it's actually it was the premise that should have been done in that other movie. A con woman tries to bilk some rich people out of stuff, and Colin Firth plays a magician that goes and tries, and it ends up falling for her. And then I rewatched Roman Holiday, which is one of my favorite rom-coms that I will watch over and over and over again. So good. So that was what I watched this week.
Speaking of magic, don't you have a trick?
I do. Let's finish the what everybody's watching.
That's what I was watching.
So
was old videos of your magic.
No, I'm saying, let's finish everybody's list so that when we're done with that, it'll be easier for you to edit it out, because our listeners or our two listeners won't be able to watch the trick. But I got something for you, Reagan, if you want to watch.
That's what I heard. I heard I missed it on Friday.
Everybody else's list of
just so you know, Michael, we have way more podcast listeners than live stream listeners.
That's a very good
I'm
point.
making a joke about it.
I know, but I'm just saying.
We're so new. I'm hoping we get one day to the 100,000 listeners. That'll be awesome.
The new SVU is so good. I have not watched the SVU, but I've watched the new Law and Order. And apparently they're doing another Law and Order called For the People. That'll be like the Halston my mom's watching.
Okay, so I think your mom and I need to watch TV together, because someone just recommended, they're like, have you seen Halston? And I was like, oh yeah, I watched that documentary like months ago. And they're like, no, it's a TV show. So I'm super excited to revisit that. But yes.
Isn't that a fragrance that Kmart used to sell?
Well, Halston is a designer I probably had a fragrance like,
that wasn't face palm worthy.
Electric Youth, etc.
Oh,
Electric Youth.
Electric Youth.
Eric has that.
Oh my god!
Right, Eric, show
I
the
have
bottle.
I have so many bottles of Electric Youth perfume. It's this reference to Debbie Gibson was brought to you in part by Generation Z. Now smaller, lighter, and with longer battery life. Make sure to ask for Generation Z. Actually have a display case for Electric Youth perfume.
when I finally published the Debbie Gibson interview, I do talk about that. Here, it's right here on this cassette. That my friend Eric has
sitting right next to my magnet collection.
It's a real.
No wonder I couldn't get it stuck. Anyway, that my friend that he had a bunch of the Electric Youth perfume, and she's like, "Oh, I think she's something. Oh, he's the one that bought it."
It discolored oddly over time. I will say,
just like our youth.
And it's eating its way through the glass bottle, strangely.
Yes, yeah, it is. It might be a little toxic youth at this point.
Yeah.
But it's got electrolytes.
That's right, exactly.
Like Gatorade.
I have watched nothing. I gotta say, honestly, I have.
Yeah.
It's been such a crazy week. I DJ weddings. The wedding season is definitely back on here in Western Pennsylvania. And so just watching a lot of playlists come together to prepare to head out and be part of a lot of events this year. So it's fun, but it's kept me from being a chance
to prime wedding season plus a large amount of pent-up demand from people who'd put things off. So
yes.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do like Wednesday weddings and 2 for Fridays, and
it could possibly turn into
weddings. Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos of cars. I found another one called Junkyard Digs. These guys just find a car in the junkyard and bring it back to life. It's so awesome.
Oh boy!
You're reminding me of a movie I haven't seen in a long time.
Junkyard, Stacy.
Which is 4 Weddings and a Funeral. I haven't seen that in many years.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me about that.
That's a good one.
That's a good movie. Andy McDowell.
The month I got married, the October of whatever year that was, we had 4 weddings. We went. One of them was ours. No funerals that month.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been breezing through Gilmore Girls. I watched it as a kid because she and my dad used to watch it, so I've seen it. Like I knew them, but like I never actually watched it because I was like 3. But we watched A Year in the Life first, which was like their reunion thing in 2016, and then I was like, oh, I should watch the show. So I got to season 6 out of 7 today. I think I'm a couple episodes into that one. But my friend came over a couple days ago, and we watched different movies than each other. So I was able to show her I Love You Too because she likes rom-coms, and that's the only one that I like ever. But she really loves scary movies, and they made me so wildly uncomfortable. I just can't do it, and I'm super picky about which ones I will watch, and it's not many. It's like Jaws. That's not a scary movie. So that's what it is. But she loves it so much, like the new one, and so I was like, you know what? If you tell me what's going to happen, I will watch this with you. And it wasn't terrible. I would not watch it again because it made me so uncomfortable. But the only part that really killed me, which is interesting, you see headless bodies and this creepy clown the whole time. And there's parts that are sad that I didn't like with kids. But you see all this stuff. And the only part that bothered me so bad was whenever they spit over the edge into this creek and then they jump into it. I was like, why? You could have bled into that and jumped in there. Instead, you spit in there. That's disgusting. I don't know why. There's a difference in my head, but that's the only part that really had me dude, I'm gonna die watching this. It was so bad.
She's so well adjusted.
Yeah.
Very well. She doesn't feel, so it's okay.
No.
Adam's looking forward to the new Loki to start.
I am really too. I was looking forward to that more than I was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Loki looks really interesting.
Yeah. All right. So on the Marvel front, before you jump to his next comment. On the Marvel front, I want to share. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but some Marvel fan put together a 5-hour edit of Infinity War and Endgame together, and included some bits from the end of Thor and some of the cut scenes that happen that sort of tie those movies together.
Wow.
And so if you go to themarvelfans.com, it's all available right there. You can just download.
And they're releasing a black and white version. And
there's going to be a black and white. There's going to be a 7-hour edit later.
Silent films.
There's going to be lots of slow-mo. But yeah, it is, so if you're a fan of those movies and would like to watch them back to back seamlessly, themarvelfans.com. Don't know how long that'll stay up because that's questionable. It is out there right now. So in my
egomaniacal opinion, Jupiter Ascending is far better than Falcon and Winter Snowman.
Oh, Winter Snowman. I like that title better.
Yeah,
yes. Bucky, the Winter Snowman.
Hey, listen, I rewrite a lot of stuff. So, Reagan, do you want to see this trick?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, hold on.
I'll give you a second to re-aim the camera.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, fancy.
Oh, just got real.
Are you seriously playing music? Oh, my God. All right, Reagan.
Yes.
What I have here. Where's the center? Damn it!
You're good enough. You're close to center.
Make
him large. Make him large.
A little off center.
Can you
That's better. Yeah.
Yeah. Adjust his screen.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
You may want to turn off the green screen too, Mike. It occasionally is bleeding through weirdly.
That's true. It's affecting.
Let me turn off green screen.
This will definitely not be in the podcast. So anything you want right now.
I really like to swear.
I just want to
rip off
the time where we're at 1:15. Boop! There, I made a nice.
Okay,
peek
I
in
have to tell you guys about. Did I tell you all the magic trick story, or did I just tell Eric the magic trick story?
I don't remember it.
I don't think it's over here.
So it's been a really, really long time since I've taken a ride share, but my most memorable one, like before COVID, I used to be that like friendly rider that would sit in the front seat and like chat. And my friends would always make fun of me. Like, no, I just sit in the back and check my email. And I'm like, no, if I got in a friend's car, I'd sit in the front with them and talk. Obviously, I won't do that. So take yourself back to like 2019. So I was taking Uber, Lyft or something home from a brunch. Now, brunch started at brunch time, but it was 4:30 and it was at a friend's house. So we had just like caught up and like there may have been champagne. And so, call my Uber to pick me up. And I tell the gentleman like, oh, I'm coming home from brunch. And he's like, it's like 4:30. I'm like, oh, we had a good time. So that day happened to be St. Patrick's Day. And as he's taking me back, I'm like, are you finishing your day or starting the day? And he's like, oh, I'm just starting it, but I forgot to bring bags and it's St. Patrick's Day. And I was like, oh, you need like what Dan doesn't need, like you need puke bags, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, hold on a second. If you want, like, I've got a ton of plastic bags in the house. I'll give you some. So I come down and as I deliver them, he's like, get back in the car. I have a surprise for you. And I was like, you do? So I should have done it, right? Like if this was a horror film, it would have ended differently. So I get back in the car and he's like shuffling cards. So I felt like moderately okay getting back in. So I get back in and I'm like, are you going to do a magic trick for me? And he did. And probably not surprising after all the champagne I drank, but he totally tricked me. And, like, it's like the influence of picking the right card and everything. But if you've ever had a Lyft driver thank you with a magic trick, I'd love to hear about it. I think the only person this has happened to, but
if it helps, I was a Lyft driver for a while. So
did you ever do a trick for your passenger?
No, I haven't. I actually have not
trick.
done magic tricks in a while, so I'm a little rusty.
Oh,
so Reagan, bear with me. Are we ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, I think
what I have here is an invisible deck of cards, Reagan. Can you see them? No, you can't. They're invisible. What's wrong with you? My God. So, now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to spread the deck. I want you, Reagan. Where are you? Over here. Reagan, I want you to choose one card out of the deck. Reach over and choose a card.
Okay. Where's the...
All right, choose a card. Now, I want you to look at it carefully. Concentrate. Here's what we're going to do. You are going to visualize that card for me. Now, most people will say Ace of Spades because it's a common card. And believe it or not, one of the other most common cards I hear is Queen of Hearts. But I want you to use your imagination. There's 13 cards in the deck. I would prefer for the rest of the trick that it's not a picture card. I'll explain why later. But if you want to use a picture card, that's fine. We'll go with that. Choose a card, ace through king, hearts, clubs, spades, or diamonds. Name that card.
You want me to say it out loud?
I want you to say it out loud.
Okay, 5 hearts.
Okay,
Right.
5 of hearts. Now, I have here a deck of cards. And what would be interesting is if the top card, if your card, the one you picked, were printed on the top of this deck on that first
my
card I
God.
turn over. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
It would be amazing, right? Yeah, well, look, if you see, look closely, right there, the 5 of hearts.
No way.
You see, it's
It is on
no,
there.
I'm kidding. What the reality is, I want you to hand me back that invisible 5 of hearts.
Yes.
All right, now I'm going to take it and put it back in the invisible.
Oh, great.
Oh, then he freezes.
Deck.
Yes.
But I mean,
Who froze?
5 of deck up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this deck. All right, let me take out the jokers. And we're going to look through this deck and see if there is a card upside down in this deck. All right. Well, you know what? Let me turn the light a little bit. There you go. So it's easier to see. All right. So we're going to see if there's a, oh, wait, look, there is one card upside down right there by the top. All right. Let's see if that is your card.
No freaking way.
Cards. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Now here's what I'm going to do. We're going to the reason I asked for one not a picture card because I'm going to write on it. I'm going to write on it a word. Now, since Reagan, you are doing this, would you like to? Let's make it simple. Let's make it a couple of initials or a number, a favorite number, something like that. A couple initials, favorite number, anything like that. I would like you. If you are afraid that I'm in your head and you want your mom to choose, that's fine. If you want somebody else to,
I'm good. Let's go for it.
All right.
I have no idea. We'll just do 40.
40. Okay. All right. We're going to right here.
This is 40.
All right. Now, you can see carefully that I've written the 40 right exactly there. All right.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I do that is so that when I do the remainder of the trick, you know I'm not using a deck with a whole bunch of 5 of hearts in it. That this deck only has the one 5 of hearts. What I'm doing is very simple card manipulation. Now I shuffle the card, I shuffle the deck a little bit, and theoretically, the 5 of hearts should be buried deep inside. You notice the top card is a Jack of Spades. But if I take that Jack of Spades and run it carefully through the deck, the 5 of hearts, the one with the 40 on it, is right there. We're going to cut the deck. We're going to shuffle it again one more time. And now this time, I am going to riffle through the deck like this. I want you to tell me when to stop. Remember when you used to say stop? All right, tell me when to stop.
Stop.
The word is stop.
Stop.
There's a delay.
All right, right there. I can go a little further. That's the card. Right there?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yep.
Yes or
Yeah,
no?
go
Right
for it.
there? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Watch
Yes.
carefully as I turn that card over. And there it is, the 5 of hearts with the 40 on it. Pretty cool, right? Now, the last part of the trick. The last part of the trick, we are going to re-aim the camera at my ugly face. We're going to take the 5 of hearts, and we are going to make it vanish right before your eyes. All right? We take the cloth, put it over it, and so you can see that I am not messing with you. It is still there. We're going to take the cards, put it right over the top, and if you watch, it is completely gone, and it has vanished. Pretty amazing, eh?
Gee whiz.
Sorry.
If you did a green card in front of the green screen, that would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
I'll make it disappear.
All right, Reagan, but where did the card go?
Oh my God, I want it to be in Reagan's pocket so bad.
Oh my God, that'd be so
Reagan,
funny.
I'll tell you what, Reagan, choose a number from 1 to 5.
3.
Okay, 3. All right, we're gonna count. Where are we? We're gonna count down 1, 2, 3. 3 is you, but we got to skip you because we don't want anybody to think we're working along. So 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Third one down is Dan. All right.
Yeah.
Now, Dan, do you have on your desk? Let me think a second. Things that are ordinarily on a desk. Do you have on your desk
Trio?
your wallet? Is your wallet on your desk?
No, it's in my car.
All right. Do you have by some miracle have a deck of cards?
No, I don't have cards in the.
All right, wait.
in the,
How about a notebook? You have a notebook?
yes, I do have my notebook that I was doing
pick up your notebook,
my comedy
please.
writing in the other day.
All right. Now hold it up so everybody can see. So you're not messing with it. I want you to go through it nice and slowly. Tell me what you find in your notebook. Hold it up
come
so
on,
people can see you
dude.
going
No,
through it.
it's not.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm gonna throw up.
Let's see the same one.
Turn it around.
Stop it.
Come
Turn it
on.
around. Turn it
Are you
around.
kidding me?
I don't understand.
Whoa. I don't understand. Wow.
Thank you so much. At one time, I used to have a show. I toured all over the Southeast.
Also known as Florida.
Yes.
How do you even do that? I don't get it. I don't
Wow.
understand.
I think I got it.
Wow.
Gee whiz.
We never did magic together or comedy.
No, we
Anyway,
did more comedy.
Wow. Spectacular.
What the heck?
All right, I'm done. You could talk about other stuff now.
See, the last time I felt like this was whenever my friend did tricks. He had like a deck of cards one day. It was like we were seniors in high school, and he was like, "Here, my friend Jared, Aaron had the cards. He said, Jared, I want you to just pick a card in your head." He goes, "Okay." So then he holds out the deck, like fans it out. He goes, "Okay, hold this," and he gave it to Jared and smacked it, and Jared was holding the card. He was like, I don't understand it. We sat there for like 20 minutes. He did it again and again and again. We were just like, I don't know what's happening. That's so crazy.
She's so young.
Shut up. I don't understand.
Listen, I'm going to screw with Jared. I'm going to show you how that's done. You see, I'm holding the deck. Your card is on the bottom. When you smack the deck from the top, all the cards come off except the one that's on the bottom.
Oh.
you're not supposed to give away the
we're not
secrets.
supposed to ruin a trick.
Oh.
Oh, no, I like it when you ruin it.
Me too.
That's what I'm thinking.
Are you the mystery guy that did those shows on Fox,
Masked
Michael?
Magician? Yes, I am.
Yes, was that you?
If I were the Masked Magician, I'd have a lot more money.
Right.
Well, how can people book you, Michael? If people want to book you to come to their kids' parties, where do they come?
I don't do kids' parties anymore. They are the worst.
Michael would be the pinata.
Kids'
You can
parties
hit him
are-
with sticks until he pops.
Wow. You come in costume is what I want.
I may edit that video into a little TikTok.
Dress as Doctor Strange
cool.
and show up at
That
people's
was a lot longer than a minute, though. But
You can do up to 3 minutes on some TikToks, but I can do like like and subscribe for part 2.
No, there it is. Awesome.
like that.
I did watch the first episode of The Story of Late Night, which is that series that's on CNN, where they cover the start of The Tonight Show through the very beginning of Johnny Carson. And I had completely forgotten, it had completely slipped my mind that for 6 months between Steve Allen and Jack Parr, Ernie Kovacs hosted, who was one of my TV idols.
I completely forgot that Jack Parr left for a long time.
For
And
a
then when
month.
he came back, his first line was, "As I was saying," or something to that effect. Or
Yeah, he had a disagreement over a censorship issue, and he literally just got up on live TV and left in the middle of the show.
Wow.
I remember.
And his ratings were so high that NBC begged him to come back, and he negotiated for a month before he came back.
Wow. The baller. It's the original.
It's amazing because 1957 until what was the first successful late night show that was a late night talk show on another network besides NBC? Because NBC ran that. Was it until Arsenio came along? Really?
I think Arsenio was the one that made
Dick
it.
Cavett had a pretty successful show.
That's true. Very different
Was it on
style.
that
But yeah,
late?
Cavett was successful.
Yeah, it was a late night show. Joan Rivers tried to, wasn't successful, and that's
No,
how.
Pat Sajak tried.
Yeah,
Arsenio got a lot of attention. There was a
Yeah.
lot of attention because there was a little bit of smack talk.
You remember Carcinio from Saturday Night Live?
Oh, Ed, that is wild.
Dana Carvey and Phil Hartman as Ed.
You are correct, sir. Yeah, and like Ed had like a thing shaved in the side of his head.
Yes, he had this. Yeah, he had the fade. Yeah, that was awesome. I did watch the new SNL, which was much better than the Elon Musk episode. It was still not classic SNL, but Keegan-Michael Key is a much better host than Elon Musk.
The weekend update might have been one of the funniest weekend updates in a long time.
I haven't had
There was some good stuff in it. Yeah,
They had a lot of great jokes and a lot of. I like when they make each other laugh.
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. They're
They're growing on me. I did not like them at first.
That's honestly most episodes. I will at least watch that. I will watch the news because I do enjoy their camaraderie.
And Kate McKinnon makes an amazing Liz Cheney.
Yes, and Anthony Fauci.
Yes.
So such a stretch. You can do both.
Wow.
Well, she used to do Hillary.
Yeah.
Jeff Sessions.
Oh yes.
And Giuliani.
Although you remember Melissa McCarthy's Sean Spicer.
Chewing on the gum.
Spicer with his motorized podium that he would then roll around.
Come get you. I'll get you.
The early election times.
I think I told my magic joke that the story. Mike, I don't know if I've told you this. I was doing stand up in West Virginia, and the headliner couldn't make it. Like he was running really late, and they told me to stall. So I just took a deck of cards and I just passed it around everybody. And I was just making up a trick. I was just killing time, and everybody had to touch it, and everybody's going through it. Finally, I see the headliner walk in, and I just randomly just grab a card, and I go, and I didn't even look at what it was. Is this your card? And everybody's mouth just went. And it was the 3 of clubs, and they're all like, "How did you do that?" I'm like, 1 in 52 chance, and no one believed me. They all thought there was a trick to it. There was zero trick, because I was just going to do the line. Oh, if that's not it, then I was going to throw the whole deck at them and go, "Oh, it must have been one of these." Here's your headline.
That's funny.
So 3 of clubs. That was
I would remember that story if you told me.
Oh, well, there's the story. All right. Oh yeah, Adam also reminds Chevy Chase tried a.
Oh, that was awful. Yeah.
He had a piano next to his desk, as I recall.
Magic Johnson as well.
Yeah, there were some real bad failed attempts.
Alan Thicke.
You had the Tomorrow Show with Tom Snyder. There were some others that had different formats, but the ones that sort of tried to clone the Jack Paar, Johnny Carson's formula, most of them failed for years, which is why CBS was so willing to pay Letterman a small fortune to come over, because they thought they finally had someone who could compete with the Tonight Show.
And he did for quite a while.
I think one of the reasons Arsenio hit it so big so quickly was because he went for a different audience.
Oh yeah.
I think Carson was still doing people over a certain age.
He was still doing Karnak and the Mighty
Arsenio went right for the 20-somethings.
Yeah.
Adam says something that I'm surprised Adam would say, but yes, later with Bob Costas, which turned into the Carson Daly crap show.
Yeah. Well, Costas is very good.
He's a really good interviewer.
And really, of the ones that have been mentioned, I really loved watching Dick Cavett. I mean, like any talk show host, especially of that format, he was only as good as his guests. But when he had a good guest on, he was a great interviewer.
Well, Carson made every guest better.
Right.
Yes. That's what Carson's secret was.
And Letterman eventually did, but it took him a long time to really become a good interviewer.
And Leno was the worst.
Oh, Leno never got good at it.
No.
Great
stand-up.
Letterman on Netflix is very enjoyable.
Yes.
Oh, is he on Netflix?
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, the next guest.
I haven't seen any of those yet, so I might check one out.
They're really
good. They're really good.
The Robert Downey Jr. one is excellent.
Yes.
Ooh.
Obama's
What a guy.
Tune into the Obama episode. That would have been cool to watch.
The Dave Chappelle one is also excellent. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Well. All right. So next Monday, be prepared for Somewhere in Time.
A wacky screwball comedy.
Christopher's. Come on, people.
And I will have a name drop.
Oh.
So how about that? I will have a story for next Monday.
Oh wait, I know this story.
Yeah, you know
this story.
So we'll talk a little bit about
that. Week now.
Week. That's your teaser. Maybe Friday.
Is it involved on
Friday. We'll talk about it on Friday, maybe. So, prepared for that Friday night. Of course, the social hour, 9 p.m., 6 p.m. on the West, for fun and games and mayhem. And I'm sure we'll
be there. No Friday wedding this week.
Hey,
actually, I do have a Friday.
We're going to surprise everybody.
So I will not be here, but Dan will be here. And Dan is set up for the Jackbox games as well. So,
and we could continue this late night conversation because that's very interesting.
That's also true. Yeah. So there you go. So
the following Friday night show is the Eric Menza birthday party.
That's true.
Is very true.
Ooh, that's right.
Thursday. Eric's is Friday.
That's
nice.
27th and 28th.
Does EriDan
EriDanamens. EriDan, Mad EriDan.
So, Dan, why are you including yourself? Why are you including yourself in our birthdays?
Because
it's the EriDan show still.
Yeah,
I'm
but
going
it's,
to be
but,
here.
it's, but it's the Shemern's birthday party.
Painful. Oh, that's really painful. All right.
It's DJ
I want the
birthday.
Mensmer.
We'll work on a name. All right. All right.
Work on the name, yes.
Yeah, we'll work on a name. All right, everybody, have a great
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.
Goodbye.